Have you ever laughed so hysterically at something so simple you were starting to get legitimately worried that you were losing your sanity or something? About what were you laughing so hard then? Every time I see this one Vine, where it's the GameCube startup sound, but it ends with a guy tripping and yelling shit, I bust out laughing. I cannot explain why. I was in a large multi-floor bookstore, walking down a flight of stairs, when I heard a phone ring. A sales clerk answered it. Self-help, may I help you? That seemed like the funniest thing in the world to me, and I burst out laughing. Not just one chuckle, but sustained laughter that made people start to look at me. That seemed even more absurd, so I rushed to a new section, but still laughing and attracting more attention. So I sped up more, laughing harder, attracting new attention in every new location, until eventually I ran a half circuit of the floor and took refuge under the stairs I had come down, so that I could compose myself. Me and two of my friends were working on a movie, but we messed up some files and accidentally replaced the black screen after a character's suicide with a panorama of cinnamon rolls. I was working in a group home, finishing up some paperwork after an overpass shift and accidentally wrote "shampoo" instead of "shampoo." One of the residents asked me if I needed help. I was laughing so hard I legit almost died. I'm pretty sure playing a video game. One of my wife's favorite games is Shenmue. Originally released on the Dreamcast in 1999, it plays like an early prototype for games like Yakuza or Sleeping Dogs, but it was very crude by any modern standard. It's quite bad, I would say, in fact, but in a so bad it's good sorta way, which is very rare for video games. They put out a remaster a couple years ago, and she had me play through it while she watched. She wanted to see what I thought of it. The plot revolves around the main character investigating his father's murder. He does this mostly by wandering around town and just asking random people on the street questions, hoping it will somehow help. At one point he gets a lead that something might be going on at the docks. The main character, who isn't too bright, thinks, hey, sailors work at the docks, I should talk to some sailors. So do you go to the docks? No, that would make too much sense. Instead, as you wander around town aimlessly, you can ask people, do you know where I could find some sailors? Over and over again. It started to get pretty funny, just asking random people for sailors constantly. Well, at one point my wife went to the bathroom and I stopped to look at the in-game journal. It's where the game keeps all your notes of things you've learned, but they're all written in Fork's handwriting, as if the main character wrote himself a note. I flip it open and the only thing on the current page in big letters is "must find sailors." I completely lost it. We'd already kinda been laughing about this search for sailors for like an hour, and when that popped up it was like the last straw and something in my head broke. I was completely hysterical with laughter. I couldn't stop. I couldn't breathe. It started to hurt. That only made me laugh harder, and I was starting to worry I was going to pass out. My wife walked back in from the bathroom and was very confused. She was just in time to see my cat, who had been curled up on the couch next to me, start to yowl and swat at me. Apparently my lunatic laughter had unnerved him. "What's so funny?" she asked. I gestured weakly toward the screen with the still open journal and managed to wheeze out "must find sailors" as I fell into another fit of laughter. It was a good 5-10 minutes before I was coherent. "Must find sailors" is still a nice little private joke between us. I was in INSAT class and we were going over practice questions. The instructor read out a group of spoon collectors, and I began laughing so hard and for so long that I had to leave the classroom. I'm over it now, but it was troubling. Sometime in the mid to late aughts, my husband was on the phone with iRobot customer support regarding our Roomba. I was in another room, but I could hear his side of the conversation clearly, and I could tell he wasn't getting the results he'd hoped for. As he got more frustrated, he blurted out, "I've had problems with this robot since the day I brought it home." Something about that particular phrase just hit me hard. I immediately started laughing and couldn't stop. I was still laughing when he got off the phone. Understandably, he wanted to know what was wrong with me. Through maniacal laughter, I parroted the phrase back to him, which had something of a feedback loop effect on my laughter. It's been over a decade, but thinking of that phrase still makes me giggle. A few weeks back I was taking a shower and I looked at my foot and it just looked so stupid that I started laughing and couldn't stop. Like I had these weird paw-like failed hands attached to my legs and they were so ridiculous looking, and I was just going around with my body ending that way. I laughed at my foot for about 5 straight minutes. I was in the grocery store about 2 weeks ago and went to grab some eggs. As I opened the box to check them, I was reminded of a post on Reddit about a guy that went a great deal of his life not KOing why people open egg boxes, but was nervous. If he didn't do it people would stare at him, so he would open them just to look the part. Started laughing out loud while looking at eggs. People were staring at me. I never got out of there so fast. Lol. Misheard an episode of Octonauts about the coconut crab. The phrase astronaut crabs conjured simultaneous images of crabs in spacesuits and also giant crabs cracking open astronauts with their claws, and I absolutely lost it. I could hardly breathe. There were tears of mirth. My children were terrified, but also trying to keep up with the joke, which I could barely explain. We still talk about it, but it will never be quite as funny as when my brain caught me by surprise. There's a sticker in my phone keyboard gallery of a purple llama with a box of carrots, and it says busy. I saw it at work and laughed so hard I was crying. I legitimately could not stop my brain from recalling the image. I had to leave work. Edit. It's actually a person dressed up in a purple llama suit. Drama llama. I didn't question my sanity, but I got stuck in a laughing loop with my then 1-year-old son. He was laughing at my laugh, and I was laughing at his. It was the better part of an hour and we were both exhausted afterward. It was over 30 years ago and it still makes me some when I think about it. In high school a guy at my table was asked if he ever had sex, and with the most straight face said no, but I've seen dogs do it. His frankness and deadpan attitude made me laugh so hard, and for so long I was worried that I was going to pass out.